I'm in Salad and I saw Ed Wood. It is directed by Tim Burton. And if you haven't seen this movie, I will spoil it for you. The movie starts, we're following Ed Wood, and before watching this movie, I have no previous exposure to Ed Wood, but he is the worst director, and this movie does say that at the very end, but I've been told a little bit, just a tiny little bit, that he was the worst director. I never really looked further into him, but now I'm watching a movie about his life story. Whenever this video gets 1,000 views, I'm going to review the Ed Wood movies because I know the Ed Wood fans are here. So if you want to see me review Plan 9 from Outer Space, or Glenn or Glenda, share this video around. Ed Wood is 30 years old. He's inspired by Orson Welles, who created Citizen Kane at 26. He's inspired specifically because he hasn't done anything really with his life, and he wants to. I like how ambitious he is. He hears this call for directors, and he's like, alright, I'm gonna make the call. I'm gonna make the call and be like, hey, I am the best director for this job. Let me talk to you in person. And I'm like, okay, that's really ambitious. You have no experience, and there's somebody in the same scene to be like, why did you say that? What makes you qualified? And he's like, well, I just said it. Nothing makes me qualified. He just had to get in the door, which I really like that about him. He talks to this guy. The guy's like, no, you're not directing this film. And instead of taking it harshly, being down on himself, I do like how Ed Wood is just walking, and then he sees this guy, Bela Lugosi. First of all, I haven't seen any movies with him. I haven't seen any of the movies that he's in. I hear he's Count Dracula. Well, actually, not just here. The movie says it explicitly. This movie is about the process of how Ed Wood made the films that he made. I like this look. I don't think I've really seen a movie about the process of making a movie quite like this one. Ed Wood comes back to the same guy. He's like, hey, I have a movie idea that I'd like to direct, and I have a star, and he's cheap. And this guy's like, okay, all right, okay, come up with a script, do all this fun jazz. And I'm like, okay, I really want to see Ed Wood's vision. And of course, what's hilarious about this part is the wife. What the hilarity is from the fact that she is so against Ed Wood. And I'm laughing because everyone has heard of Ed Wood. Nobody has heard of the wife. Or at least, this isn't the wife. This isn't the wife. She's a girlfriend at this point, and she's really, really against Ed Wood wearing women's clothing. I don't care about wearing women's clothing, personally, if you're a guy, because men, women, this is all just marketing things, you know? What, am I going to base my identity around what some other person told me it should be? No, like, it's just all marketing, okay? So I don't believe that. So immediately, I do not side with this chick whatsoever. I think if you like wearing men's clothing, that's all right. Have it your way. Life is short. Enjoy your life. You gotta do whatever you gotta do in order to make yourself happier, you know? But this woman, though, she's so anti-Ed Wood. It makes me a little bit sad, and it's also like, how are you so optimist? How are you so optimistic, Ed Wood? Despite all these circumstances, despite all these hardships that he's dealing with in the movie, he has to deal with a lot of, oh no, there's a lot of people denying me, they're not letting me have my chance, there's not a lot of money, nobody's funding me, I'm not able to pay anyone, really, and it's kind of sad, but it's also the struggle that he went through, and the fact that he's able to hold his chin up, and he's like, okay, I'm able to live with the struggle to make my art. It is totally worth it. And I like that about him. There's a lot of problems with the filmmaking process that Ed Wood has to deal with, but there's also like some problems throughout the years too, like for example, money. Money is a big issue, especially with Bella. He's not getting any gigs, which is sad, although he should be, although he's being typecast. And I think he should just stay with being typecast. I think the big thing with his character, and he does realize it later, that he shouldn't have turned down Frankenstein because he thought it was too big for him. And look where he is now. He's not that. And so I think he should have just stuck to his typecast. He's a monster guy. Well, you want to be held seriously after you play a character like Dracula? No, you're just going to always be known as Dracula. So I think Bella should have leaned into that character more. But he's dead now, and this is a movie about him after he died. So, you know, his story closed and shut. It's the only thing you can do now is really just to learn from it. Ed Wood makes a few movies. He does. He makes Glenn or Glenda, which is about him being a guy who wears women's clothing, and it's a movie entirely about that. It's his story. I completely understand, and not a lot of people like this movie. But he is able to make more movies because he is so adamant on not giving up. He wants to help Bella. He seems like a genuine friend to Bella, which I really like. So he makes a lot of movies. He gets a lot of movies funded. There's a lot of steps in which he takes to fund these movies, which are definitely outside the box thinking. Like, for example, he goes to this chick, and this chick's like, hey, I'll give you money if you make me the lead role. And Ed Wood agrees. And this kicks the girlfriend off of the production. Well, she's kind of a clerk, so it's pretty much not even there ever. Nope, just a clerk role. Haha, got him. And she's super angry, right? She didn't even have that much money to begin with. Only had $300, and so you have to find a new way to make money. That's just what this industry is, it seems, at this point. Well, especially for Ed Wood, it seems like this is the bulk of his movie making process, is trying to find ways to make money so he can make the movie. After the movie has been made, the lady, the girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, mind you, runs out. She's like, this is strange, I don't like it. And then, you know, it's a little bit sad, but you gotta focus on your art, right? And then we have Ed Wood meets this lady who is like, oh yeah, I'm totally fine with you wearing women's clothing. It's because Ed Wood immediately says it outright, and it's no longer a secret. He just wants to embrace this part of the identity, which I really like about him. Goes to this church group. This church group is like, hey man, we want you to make a movie. We want to make a movie. We want to make a mini movie. It was like, hey, if you make this movie, you're going to make many monies to make other movies. So how about you fund my project? And then, you know what's funny? They do. They have some objections, but Ed Wood's like standing up for himself. Like, hey, this is my movie. Just because you have money doesn't mean that you get to stick people in just because, you know, you have money. There's an artistic vision, which I respect. I respect him standing up for himself. I think it's a little bit morbid. I don't know exactly how to feel about this, but Bella dies like 2/3 through the movie, and and Ed Wood has this tiny little film reel of like him in front of a house, smelling the flowers. Just he's like appreciating, like he's reflecting on life before he dies, you know. He's showing symptoms of about to die, and Ed Wood takes a little bit of film of him, and then he dies, and then Ed Wood's like, oh, I have a little bit of this, I have a little bit here. Maybe I should make an entire movie out of that and have a double Bella. And I'm just like, I mean, ask people. I don't know what you think about it personally. I think it's good intentioned. I mean, Ed Wood definitely wanted to make a movie, and Bella wanted to make a movie. He's like, I want to be in a movie. I want to shoot another movie. And so Ed Wood starts another process, and he dies. But this is in Bella's name. This is his last movie. Even if everyone in the movie who is supposed to be Bella, that isn't just that original shot that Ed Wood shot on that reel that one day. Yeah, they're not Bella, so it's a little bit questionable. What do you think though? Let me know in the comments. Do you think it's questionable? Do you think it's not good? Not good or not bad? What do you think? What do you think this whole situation, whole Bella, do you think Bella should have been playing Bella the entire movie? Do you think Ed Wood should have made the movie in the first place? Just let me know in the comments. I just think this is a very good movie. This movie has pretty great pacing. I feel like I'm watching Ed Wood and Bella and the rest of the gang, just anyone just there, throughout the rest of the years. We have a nice little moment where we see that Ed Wood did marry that chick that you found after the ex-girlfriend broke up with him. There's a lot of bugs out here though, because there's a spider. Get out of here. I don't want to cause physics to happen, so I'm going to do a little boom. Get out. I killed it. Great movie. If you haven't seen this movie, I highly recommend it. Oh my goodness, the shot compositions are great. The camera movements are great. For a movie about a bad director, it's really good. And so that's a testament to Tim Burton's directing, and I really like Tim Burton films. So if I haven't reviewed a Tim Burton film, I definitely will soon sometime. So check that out in the future if I haven't. So I gotta give this movie like a solid 8 out of 10. If you like this review, watch another one. YouTube really likes that. If you want to help support the channel, fast track a movie review for $20 Edinos, you can do that at patreon.com/ASEPresents. And if you'd like to help support the daily grindiness of all these daily movie reviews, you can go to this link tree to find the way you can help support the daily grindiness of all these daily movie reviews. So you can go here, and until next time, mint salad saw. I'll see you later, my saw croutons, big bits.